Okay, let's see. Turn that music down a little bit here so we can hear ourselves think. Alright. Looks like we're on. We do not have the chat on. There we go. Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the stream. We are going to try to get the item editor done, but first up, let's just go through our checklist here and make sure. Selected NPC storage for editing. Change the, okay, this is all done. This is done. We fixed this yesterday. Item database not done. Layout is done. We'll say, let's put in a category here, possible changes, change ideas. Delete NPC button. Just had an idea as I was loading up and getting ready for the day. We'll see if we can add that later. First off, let's go ahead and do a little thing called the item editor. So the NPC editor right now is on the is set as the default view model for the main window, and I just have two tabs here. And to avoid doing multi-binding, I'm just going to do the normal thing and put it all in the same view, just so the data is all in one spot. Because we might have to, as we add stuff like the loot editor and stuff like that to this, we'll probably have to reference it, and it'll just make it a little easier to have it all in one little section. So okay, so let's think about how we're going to lay out the items. So items are going to have, let's go and do a region here. So this is going to be called NPC sections. And the region. I think that's right. Yep, there we go. Okay. So we're going to make a region called item sections. And the region. Alright. So what do we need? Items have, we have a name, we have an attack, we have a defense value, and we have a slot. Yeah. We need the ID of the item. Okay. So now that we have the base idea of what we're going to do, let's go ahead and pop into here. Item loot database, NPC template, items. So let's see what do we have already. Okay, so we have a item slot enum. We have our list of items, which is name, attack, defense, and the slot and the ID, which is good because I wrote that a long time ago. It's good to know that it's still here and valid. Okay, so let us go ahead and start making this. So this is for when we save and load, potentially, but we'll probably just do a listing and save it as this. We probably won't even use this. So let's go ahead and make our how did I store the NPCs? I have my collection of templates, which is my list. Okay, so let's do a observable collection of items. And this is going to be item database. Public observable collection of item. Put the little underscore here. Item database. Get database set if item database is the value, return, otherwise item database equals value. Notify property change name of item database. Okay. So there is our main collection. So let's go ahead and pop back into here. We have a selected item set, or a selected NPC. We're updating the names on the display, and let's go into item database equals new, this database add new item, and we're gonna make it item ID is equal to 0, name is gonna be stick, attack is gonna be 1, defense is gonna be 0, item slot is gonna be weapon, like that. And that's getting really big and unwieldy, so let's go ahead and do this, just so that we can see this stuff. And we're only going to add a couple. I'm not going to do what we did with the last one. Whatever. Okay. One, and this is going to be a wooden sword. Attack of 2. It's a weapon, sure. Okay, so now we will come back into, actually let's put this outside of the main thing here, just so that we can actually see this later. Okay, so now we're creating the item database. We need to bind it to the list. So let's start with the item layout here. So if we go into items, we want to make a grid, and we're gonna make it grid row definitions. Height is gonna be I don't know, 7%, 70%, and then we want another row of height is star. Actually, we will make this 25 and star. Oops. There. So we're gonna have a, this is gonna be for the button, like we did, I'm pointing at the screen again, button at the bottom for the items. And then we have a grid column definitions. So we're gonna make one. We're gonna make it 30%, and then a column definition width star. All right. I wonder if this changes when you do this. Nope. Alright. Okay. That'll work. 30%, 70. Okay. So inside here we are going to put our list box is grid column 0, grid row 0, and this is going to be items source, binding, item database, mode equals two-way, update is when property changes, and close. Alright. Then we're going to have a button, grid column is 0, grid row is going to be 1, and this is going to be our text. Nope. Content is going to be save. Okay, and then we're going to have on the right side, we're going to put a grid in. Grid row is going to be 0. Grid column is going to be 1. And yeah, we don't need this. Alright, so let's go ahead and say that we're going to have a grid column definitions, and we're going to make 2 columns. So column definition, first one is going to be 30%, and then column definition width is going to be 70%. And we're going to align horizontal, what the heck? Oh, I don't do it in the grid. I don't think so. No, we'll do it in the actual stack panel. So I want a stack panel, orientation is vertical, and this is going to be grid column 0, and this one is going to be 1. Now this one is going to be horizontal alignment is left, and this one is going to have text box, or sorry, no, we're going to go text block read only is come on. There is read only true, and then we're gonna make this this. So now we want a text text block. We'll just make a label And this is going to be item ID. Okay, and then here we're going to have item name and item attack, defense, label, item slot. So this is going to be a little different than the other one because we're going to have a drop down box probably. So we're going to go text block 1, 2, 3, 4. This won't be there. This will be editable. So they're all the same width. Let's make this 300. Oh, this is text box. Okay, there we go. It's really interesting that it decides to not line up properly. Let's go look at how did I get the other ones to do it. Text box, here we go. Labels and text box. They line up. Oh, I have margins on them, that's why. Okay. Let's just go like this. On this, are they aligned right? Okay, no. So let me just copy this grid, this stuff here, and we will put it down in here. There. Okay. Now this item database is gonna have a list box, item template, data template. It's going to be a stack panel, orientation, horizontal, that has a text box, text block. Text is going to be binding. We will change that later. So this data template, data type is going to be type of local. Nope. I need to add a reference to the items in here. So this here, items, like that. So when we come in here for our type, we can go items, item. And then our binding is going to be name, item name, like that. There we go. Alright, so that part's working. It's displaying the name properly. We are going to need the selected item. Why is this not? Oh. I wonder if it's... Oh, that's why. I changed the wrong one. We want this one. There we go. That's a little better. This one here... There we go. Okay. So let us go ahead and we need to add the item slot. So this is going to be a combo box. Combo box. Grid column is nope, not that. Don't need to change the grid column. I need to make the item source is binding. Okay, now I need to generate a list. Combo box values. So I need to have it when you load up, it's going to generate a list of strings based on the name of every type of enum. So what we're going to do is make a public observable collection of strings that returns, this is going to be called item slot names. We want a get that is going to go item slot. Nope. Inventory item slot. Okay, so this is what I need to loop through. So let's just go like this. So I want to return item slot, and let's just include that. I want to go enum get names type of item slot. Oops. And this is going to be a array, so we want to return a to list. Oops. Oh, and then go a new observable collection of string, and then I want to do that. Does it have to be that? Oh, no, there we go. And I want to go order by oops. Nope, we're not going to sort it. It should just do it automatically. Okay. Let's build that, and what we're going to do is come in here and we're going to say item slot names. Mode is one way. Update is when the property changes. And let's see what this looks like. Come into the items, weapon, armor, and neck. Cool. Okay. So now it's going to save the name, right? Let's try and fix our margin here real quick. Don't really like that. Let's can we force this one? No. Oh, they're all, I guess, kind of off, and it just gets worse the further down you go. What if we make these all 10? Really, it would be better if I had it in a single thing and then a grid inside each. Or a just a stack panel with vertical and then a bunch of horizontal stack panels. Alright, we'll fix that later. Let's turn this back though. It'll work for now. Just for testing anyways. Okay, so now we've got our enum being generated, and holy crap, that song is louder than the rest of them. Alright. Alright, so the next step is going to be saving this data that we've selected. So let's start off with the ID. So our ID is going to be read-only. So we only need a getter. So we want a public int, public string of Npc ID, and we're going to return. One second. Let's go ahead and make our selected one. So we're gonna make a item that is called a selected item, and I want a public item called selected. I cannot type it all. Selected item. Get return the selected item, and when we set if selected item is equal to the value return, otherwise selected item equals value, notify property changed, name of selected item. Alright, so there's our selected item. Let's quickly bind this to our list box. So this is a no, that's the wrong one. I want this one, and I come down here and I go selected value. Selected value is going to be binding, and selected item mode is two-way, update when the property changes, and we'll come back in here and we're going to start this up. Come over to items and we select this, and we have our item. That's good, so that's working. So now we have, when we select an item, it automatically changes it in here. So now I can go, my selected item is going to be, or NPC ID is going to be the NPC, or item ID. Oh my god. Item ID is item ID. So here, toString, because it's an integer stored as, and we're going to bind this top, or this one, text is equal to binding item ID. Mode is one way. Update when the property changes. Okay, so now we're going to do the item name. So we're going to have a public string item name is the selected item name. and we have, let's just do the other ones. Item attack is going to be selected item attack. Ooh, sorry, this is attack, and this is a value, an int, and we'll go public string item defense is going to be the selected item defense to string. And we have to do the, I'll do the item slot after, because that's going to be a little more detailed. So now I have to update, let's quickly bind these. Come on, don't be rotating stuff. So the text is come on, wrong squiggly, binding the item name. Mode is, we'll say it's one way for now because I don't have the setters yet. Text is binding item attack. Mode is equal to one way. Update when the property changes. This one is text is binding item defense. Mode is one way. Update when the property changes. And we'll deal with the combo box later. So now what should happen is, as soon as I change the selection, I was not to reference, we'll do selected item is null. We're going to do return a string empty or that. So let's do this for all of these. Okay, and we'll fix it later because we're gonna have to add the setters for when we actually type. But okay, so stick is not, I'm not updating my values here. I need to notify property change name of, and let's just go item ID. And we have a name, attack, defense. So we're just telling it to force refresh the properties that we've bound to. There we go. Alright. So let's deal with this. Public string item slot. So when I get this, here's what we have to do. So we have to get the current enum, or we're going to return, okay, so we need to get the name of the enum that is stored on the selected item. So we want the enum get name of type of item slot, and type of item slot, and my value is the selected item slot. Should return the name. So that will return what is actually in there. Now it is not it's not storing a list of the strings. It's storing like it's not a text box, so we can't just assign it. We have to select the one in the list. So we can't return it. We need to return the index of the name that matches. So so we need to go through the combo box itself, which is the names, right? So my item slot names is going to be what we're cycling through. So for each var n in item slot names, if n is equal to let's just put this here, and we'll go string slot name is that. So if n is equal to slot name, I'm going to return the index return the item slot names index of n. So that will return the number of the index within it that matches, okay? Let's do int slot number is 0. Actually, we'll make this a -1. We're going to do this. Slot number is equal to item slot names index of n. And then we're going to just return slot number. And that way, if it doesn't match anything for whatever reason, it won't update it. It won't. So if you don't assign an item slot, it won't just automatically set it. So this is when we get it. So let's see if this is going to work. Okay, so let's go into items and let's do this. So now, to bind the selected index is going to be binding slot, item slot. Mode is one way. Update when the property changes. Alright. Okay, so let's go ahead and just so that we can see if it's working, let's go into our view model here at the very top. And let's add a couple different ones in here. We're going to say a wooden shield. We'll call it a buckler. No attack. Item is 3. Defense is 1. We're going to call this armor. We're not going to call it that. We're going to call it leather armor. Sure, whatever. And then I want this one, and we're gonna make a a jade pendant, and this is gonna be a neck. So at least we'll have different ones, and we'll see if it is actually updating correctly here. All right, not to a set. If selected item is null, return -1. Alright. Okay. Alright, so this is not working. Let's go and inspect this puppy. Properties. Okay, so the item selected index is -1. Item source is this. So I have a weapon, armor, and a neck are my 0, 1, and 2. So if I'm selecting this, oh, am I not updating it? No, I'm not. Here. Name of item slot. Right there. We'll update the property. Look at that, hey? I'm not fancy. Alright, so now we all have the forward facing stuff. So now we have to do the saving, the editing of it. So let's go ahead and add our button at the top here. So we want a on our UI. It did it again. I'm telling you. I'm going to figure out why it does that. Alright, so what we want to do is up here, above our column, our grid here, what I want to do is I want to make this a stack panel. Grid row is 0, grid column is 1, and this is going to be orientation vertical. And what we're going to do is delete this part, shove all of this inside the stack panel, and at the top we're going to make a button. Content is add new item. Right? So now we have a new item, and we're going to do the margin trick. So margin is equal to, oh my god, I'm doing it again. Margin is equal to 0303. Alright, kind of sucks in the edges a little bit. I did it the wrong way, that's okay. There we go. Alright, so there's our button. So we're going to have a save button. Let us go ahead and add the two-way options on here. So our two-way options for these properties right here. Let's do these ones first, because this is going to be a little bit more tricky. Item ID does not change. We never change that. It's set automatically. So this is going to be a get, and when we set, we do this. So if let's do I gotta remember how I did this with the other one. It was something like if it, I think it was modifying the actual selected item. It's null, and we go through the item database where the ID is equal to the selected ID. Select the name and set it to the value that we're setting it to, and we reinitialize the list. Okay, gotcha. So let's just go back down up here and just crank this puppy down. Alright, so we do item database where the item ID is equal to selected item ID. Select we want come on. We'll do first or default. Name is equal to value, and then the item database equals new observable collection of item database, like that, and that will force refresh it, right? The exact same thing here. Let's just copy this. Alright, and then this is attack is going to be int parse. let's do the try parse. I'm pretty sure that's what I did here. So I want to go int try parse value out int new attack, and then we're going to set it to this. Alright, and then we want if you can't do this, return. So if we can't parse it, return, otherwise it's going to continue and assign new attack to a new variable and assign it to the item. And we have to do that with this one as well. So let's go ahead and do get this set, and we paste this in here, and this is going to be new defense, and here defense is that. Okay, so now the item slot. Oh, the cat wants out. Okay, go get him. Okay, so now we are going to do a item slot. So when we set the item slot, we are, okay, so when we get it, the first thing we're doing is we are returning a -1, because if there's nothing there, we don't want to select anything. As soon as we change the value, we're not selecting a number, but we want to get the index of that number, because it will always, the index in the combo list is not going to be the value of the enum. Like, let's say we make a whole bunch of enums, and some of them it goes like 1, 2, 3 for now, or 0, 1, 2 for now, and then the next one will be a value of 5. We can specify the enum value, right? And then it lets us expand later if we want to have different pieces of armor. We can give it like 10 spaces of difference, so we can have, you know, 9 extra pieces of armor if we want to have head, neck, shoulder, gloves, whatever. So what we need to do is need to take the name, get the value of the enum matching by name, and store that as the value. So we need to go the enum. So how are we going to get the value? So the enum is get values type of item slot. So this is the values of them, so actual values. And it's going to return an array. So that's not really what I want. Get item slot. Nope. I want to get the value. How about item slot, get the value at the specified position in the one-dimensional array. So I want to get the value of the index of the name of the enum, get names, type of item slot, I want the item slot names the slot name is the name of the slot that has the value of the enum. But when I set the value of the enum, why don't we just do that? Why don't we just say, so item slot, slot enum is going to be, we'll just do value as item slot. So this will become the enum value. Now, what is the issue? Operator must be used with a reference or nullable type. Okay, let's cast it then. Item slot value. Yeah. Do it that way. So this is going to be our slot value. So if I just return nope, because the value is not index. I believe the value is the name. No, it is an integer. It's the slot. Okay, so it's returning the index of the combo box. So I don't want that. I want the item slot names value. This is going to be the selected slot name is this. Alright. So this should become the actual, oh, and I have to do 2A of it. Selected index is this. Okay, so what happens if I do this? So this should say armor. Okay. Okay, so that's one step. So if I get the index of the value returned gives me the name, so I need the I need to find the value, the enum value of the whatever the name is, so where it matches, right? So this is expecting the object value. Get the name of this, and the slot name is that. So if I want to get the value, slot value is going to be enum get values type of item slot, and then I want to do so this is going to give me what? An array of something. And the slot, what is this? This is going to be slot, let's say slot values. And what we'll do is we will set is going to be, actually we already have the value of that. So the selected index is going to be this value. So if I want the slot selected slot value should be the name that we select is actually the integer of the list of enums. So I don't need the slot name, I need the values of value. Should return something. What is this? can't apply indexing to an expression type array. This is an array. Why can't I access it? Get enumerator. Nope. That's queryable. That's really interesting. How am I going to get the value by the name? You know what? I'm going to have to look this one up. Because I know I've done it before in other code. And I'm pretty sure it has to do with just casting it. Oh, parse. Oh, well that's easy. Okay, so so the slot value is going to be integer value of enum parse. Okay, so type of item slot, and the value is item slot names value. Should be that. And we return slot value. Oh, psh. I want I need to do this for this one. Like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go item slot is equal to slot value. And then if item slot is equal to slot value, return, return, and we're going to set it. All right. So now the next step is when we change anything, we need to refresh it. So, oh, we're already refreshing the item slot. Okay. So when I select my item, it should just change. So what we'll do is we will go and we'll set the pin, come back. Okay. I need to check to make sure, because I'm not actually saving this. Am I? No, I have to do this. I'm actually doing this, and I want to do slot value. Okay. So now we'll see if this changes. It should save it now. It should persist. Neck, weapon. Nope. Armor. Okay, that one's saving. This one is undoing it for some reason. Let's go look at the defense one here. So we're just setting it. Okay, let's not use this. Here's our slot value. And then we'll just do that. Okay, let's see if that fixes it here. Or we're not going to return what is already there. Maybe that's doing it. So here's armor, neck, armor, weapon, armor, neck. Change this to weapon. Okay. Oh, I know why. They have the same number. It's getting confused. Let's try this again. I didn't change the item ID. Alright, so items 4. There we go. Okay, so now this one is going to be a weapon. Okay, and we go back to a neck piece. We'll make this a armor piece. Okay, so we're going to do weapon, armor, neck, armor. Change this to weapon, this one to weapon. So this is still armor, good. So we're going to change this to neck, armor. Okay, there we go. It is saving it. Good. So now the next step is the buttons. So let's just go ahead, comment this out, and let's actually add a region, test data, like this. Now we need to make the let's copy our command here. I want this one. Alright, so now for our items, I want to create my commands. So I want to go add item, item, delete this, copy here, and I want to go add new item. And we're going to go void add new item. We're gonna go item database add new item, and what we want to do is we want to say the if item database is equal count is equal to 0, because we're already initializing it. We're going to I want an int item ID is going to be 0. If it's greater than 0, I want to go item ID is equal to item database max number, the max value of the ID, and then we're going to say the item ID is going to be item ID plus 1. It's going to be item ID, so it makes it 0 unless there's more than one entry. Then it's going to find the highest value and add 1 to it. Alright. Next one is the item name is going to be unnamed item. Attack is going to be 0. Defense is going to be 0. Item slot is going to be, it's just going to be a See, now I have an idea. None is 0. Like that. Oh, it's just going to do that anyways. Alright. None. Okay. So now we're going to add a new one, and item... the bed. You know what? It should just automatically refresh, right? Oh, let's bind this command. Command is binding. Add item. Mode is one way. Yeah, it just automatically refreshes it. And the IDs are going up, so we're working. Okay, and so now we need the save. So let's pop back into a totally different place here. We'll just select that now. We want the void save items. And then we're going to have a void load items. Alright, so first off, let's go into our NPC section and let's find save items, nope, save NPC. Save NPC list. Let's copy this puppy and we'll go back to save items. And we'll do this. And we'll go save items. Now this is not this, it is item database, like that. Okay, so now I want to go load open NPC list. I want to go into here and I want to go, let's call this one open NPC list. No problem. No, open items. We'll just change these to list. And then we want this. Oh, that's cool. Thanks for the follow. That's awesome. I like doing this kind of stuff. Alright, so what we want is a we want to make sure that this button is triggering our command. So let's go to the save. Oh, we have to add the command. We have to add the command first. So let's just copy these into 2. 1, 2. So this is going to be load item. We'll delete this. And we're going to copy this down here, and we're going to tell it to launch the load item list. Items list. Oh, open items list. Okay, and then this is going to be save items. And delete this part, copy, paste, save items list. Alright, so now this, in our save we're doing a list of item. NPC list is item. Open items, and the cat wants in again. Picking in or out? Oh man. What's your problem? What's your problem? What? Some cats, I'm telling you. Okay, open items, open items, open items. Shh. Item database is going to be equal to that. Let's double check this. So we're opening a selected JSON file, show it. If we selected an item, we're going to set the path to this, read that path, and then assign it, convert it into a list of items, which it should be, and then assign it, create the item database as a new of what we've converted. Okay. So let's go ahead and do items, and we're going to call this Sword of 1,000 Truths. The attack is going to be 9999. Would you get out of the bag? Get out! Got a bag of chips there. And the defense, yes, is going to be 9999, and it's going to be a weapon. And now we're going to save this. Save this. Nope. Gotta bind it. I cannot do that in here. This here. How's life in Canada? Moving to Calgary as soon as Corona is over and done with. I'm actually in Saskatchewan. It's not bad. It's really windy here today. Hard to go fishing. Save items. Oh, it is one way. It's not too bad out here. We pretty much have no thing. You're just gonna try and jump right up there, aren't you? Oh yeah. Oh man. You just want to cause crazy chaos. All right, let's try this one here. After we're done this, we'll be doing, hopefully working on the actual Unity part of it, where we're going to learn, we're teaching ourselves, this is the stuff that I normally would do, but I'm going to teach myself a new concept in Unity using this project, and that's why I'm making these videos. We want to make it so that we can use a weapon. Use a Unity thing called Scriptable Objects. And so this is the database thing, all the stuff that I can use to create my list of items that I can just import that into the project and deal with it that way. So why doesn't this work? Button is not triggering. Can we work on my own game server with a custom protocol? Oh man. Oh man. At least you're not using Photon. Photon has its place. We'll put it that way. It has its places that you can use it. But there's some funky stuff with it. I don't know. I looked at using Photon for a little dummy project and I wasn't really happy with it. I actually worked for a little bit on the that Harry Potter RPG type of a thing that's on GitHub. All I did is I went in through Unity and fixed some of the stairs, because some of the stairs you couldn't just walk straight up, so I had to add ramps into it. How far from the beginning? Not too far into it. All I've done so far is we've done this project, so we have our Npc Editor is done, and the item editor, I'm going to say 90-something%, as soon as I can figure out how to get this stupid save button to work. I don't know why it's not working. Yeah, once that's done, then we're going to go into the actual Unity and just start randomly creating monsters. and seeing if we can randomly pull from a list of the NPCs we've created. So the real question is, why is this not working? What did I change or not change? Save items, article, save items. Oh, I'm in the wrong. I hate when it does that. It changed my tab. Ah, crap. Now I gotta go and change that back. This is not save. No, I want save NPC. See, it changed my stupid tab, and I was clicking on the wrong save button. So I was actually didn't even bind it. Save items. Hate when that happens. Alright, so items, add. We're gonna edit this one to sword of 1,000 truths. Item attack 9999. 9999. And this is gonna be a weapon, and we're gonna save. Good, we're getting fired now. And items, JSON. Yes, I want to replace it. Okay, so let's add our load. So we come into our main window, we come up to the menu at the top, and here's our open NPC list. So we'll add another one, and we're going to call it item list. Open load items. Okay. So now what we should be able to do is load that exact same file. So here we go, open item list, come down to our items and open, and I have to tell it to refresh itself. Oops, where am I? That was done. I'm gonna have to go and look up open NPC list. Observable collection NPC template. Load. Open items. Items. Observable collection of items. Okay. Template data is that. Okay, so I need to make sure that this is actually doing this part properly, and I'll have to figure out what is different in the item list. Oh, I was probably on the NPC. I bet you that's what it was. Items. Yeah. It's probably what it was. Yep. I was just on the wrong tab. Alright, so if I open NPC list, here's my NPCs. I like that. I like it. You know what that means? That's done. That's done. That's done. I don't know about the random name. I thought about that, but then I have to have like... Okay, so I'll give you a little bit of a history on where I'm going with the random name. Back in the day, when I used to do free shard developments for Ultima Online, the way that the NPC templates is that they would have like humanoid, elf, lizardman. That'd be like the race of the NPC, right? And then there was a description that contained possible names for that race. So that way you could have weird lizardy sounding names as a lizardman that it would just randomly pick from first names and stuff, or at least the enemy names. And then humanoids would have regular names like Bob and Doug. And then you would have like elf names would be elvish type names. You know, that's where I was thinking about doing this. I don't know if I'm going to do it yet. It sounds like a cool idea though. It would just add that extra level of customization, but then it would be a separate editor, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and save this up here. How long is this? Is it over an hour? Yeah, an hour and 20 minutes. This is about as long as I want to keep these little parts. We do one section at a time. So the next part that we're going to stream probably either later today or tomorrow. We'll see how busy we get here tomorrow. But we're going to actually start working on the scriptable object portion of Unity. I have no idea when I'm going to be streaming tomorrow because it really does depend on when I get back into the house here. And then, yeah, should be a good time. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like, follow, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, whatever. I don't even know what to say with that anymore. I don't really care if people follow. I wouldn't mind it, but it's not really a priority. I just like doing this kind of stuff to show my own thought process for other people as well as for me in the future. Like in 2, 3, 5 years, whatever, I'll look back at these videos and see how I was thinking about programming this kind of stuff, and we'll see how far I come as a programmer. So, alright, we will talk to you guys later. Enjoy, and we'll check you next time.